Dear friends, my name is JP Sinha. When 3 crore of people like you and me come for a movement together, there has to be a miracle, there has to be a magic, there has to be something very exciting. And I am going to discuss the same with you. It is called a phenomena called equity. What is that it makes exciting to it? Right? This session I'll be taking more about some known facts, some of my own experiences, and we will discuss some of the nuances, how the journey should be. It is not a Gyan session, let me tell you upfront. It is more about telling you some stories which you can relate with, which you can think, how you can improvise upon, how you can learn from this and be a better investor yourself. Right? So before we begin, let me take a pause here and tell you when I talk about equity, what do I mean by that? So we have shares which are listed and unlisted. What I am talking about is primarily listed share. However, there is nothing which stops it from applying the same to the unlisted shares, which is broadly known as private equity, venture capital, etc. So our focus will be more towards the listed stocks. How do they behave? What is that I look into it? Things that we make right, things that we make wrong also. What segregates winners from the rest of us? I am putting myself into the us, right, for obvious reasons. So let us look at some of the core things which makes this whole journey very exciting. Right? So first thing first, what is that when we look at this equity and we invest, what is the first thing that helps us to invest? The first thing is belief. Right? What is that belief? The money can be made. We have seen in the past, we have learned from the experiences of great investors. We have theoretical proof, we have data to back it up, that this asset class in general over a longer period of time returns which is in excess of any other asset class. So money can be made. That belief is the strongest belief, but I would also add more money can be made. Right? So it gives you more money or more returns than any other asset class. This is the single biggest belief which has helped this market to grow, more and more investors to come, retail participation to increase. I mean, just to tell you, in last 20 years, we have grown at a CAGR of 12% per annum. Right? Now that is a big number. Not only that, the number of investors are also growing at around 11% per annum. In US, you have 50% US families who has direct or indirect investment in equities. So this is the belief number one. We also have a very strong belief that equity is the biggest leveler. I may be a small investor, but the comfort that I have is I can beat a seasoned investor if I start now, right? And there is nothing which stops me. Uh, if my stock selections are good, I can consistently beat rest of the investor, and this is one of the reason that I continue to invest. From today onwards, I look at my returns, I compare it with my other investors, peer sets, or even the best of the investors, and I feel that I can beat them. Now, these are the two big beliefs which helps me to get going. So this is the first part, the belief. And this is the most strongest reason why we all invest. Now, this is obviously the biggest underlying that we have. Then there is something called confidence. So when we say confidence, what is that we are talking about? We have belief, which is correct, but there is something which is inherent in each of us. The first is that I have the knowledge. This knowledge can be both fundamental or technical. Now, when I say that I have the knowledge, what I am saying is that this knowledge in someone may be very high, in others it may be low. Somebody is at the beginning stage, somebody at an advanced stage, somebody is learning from others, somebody is taking help from others. But to have this knowledge that I know what drives share price, what drives value, what drives my returns, I get confidence. There are enough books on this, there are enough tutorials on this, people who come and give their own perspective. The investors who have been extremely successful, will listen their stories. This all gives us not just motivation but also knowledge, and that is very important when we jump into it, when we feel excited about it. This is extremely important. When I say fundamental knowledge, I am talking about the financials of the stocks, what is the business, how those businesses are growing, what are the challenges, what are their own inherent properties which helps them tide over the competition, what makes them to charge premium, how is the profitability, what are the return ratios, what is the valuation, how the valuations are to be looked at. These are all forming part of your fundamental analysis, and a good deal of reading materials etc. is available for that. The second set of understanding is technical knowledge, which is more about price volume, to figure out the sentiments in the market, how markets are moving, and you can understand the trend well in advance. I mean, if I have to corroborate a technical analysis with something in real life situation, so let us look at a railway station. You are sitting on the bench, you're waiting for the train. There is one way to go near the track and see yourself whether the train is coming or not, or there is another way. You just sit there and observe what others are doing. Invariably, you will realize as the train starts approaching the station, people are getting jittery. They're standing up. They're taking their luggages. So this is something similar. You can predict what is likely to happen based on certain data points which you feel. So this is nothing but the technical analysis in my understanding. The second point is we have discipline. In equity, this is extremely important, and all of us inherently believe that we are disciplined, right? Yeah, it may sound contrary, but this is how we all feel, that we will follow the rules, we will follow what experts are advising. In general, we are very disciplined in our life. We can take the same discipline to investments as well. So that makes us disciplined. Third is, I have control. I have control on my emotions, I have control on my finances, I have control on my behavior in general. So I can take that same qualities, use it into investments. So I'll be more controlled. Obviously, I have a list of advisors, stockbrokers, etc., who give support to me, who give confidence to me. And last but not the least, I have got regulatory protection. Which helps me from frauds, misconducts, and which helps me from frauds, management misconducts, market manipulations. It actually helps the retail investors. So this is very important point, regulatory protection. So now these 5 points, knowledge, discipline, control, advisors, and the regulatory protection, these 5 together gives me the confidence. So I have the belief, now I have the confidence, right? Let us move to the third point. Which I called positive bias, right? Inherently, we are very optimistic. Let me tell you a small story here. There was a girl named Pollyanna. It's a fictional story, but it shows about positive biasness. So this girl, Pollyanna, was inherently very positive. Her father had taught her to look for brighter side even in the most adverse circumstances. So when her parents died and she was sent to her aunt's home, her aunt was not very benevolent to her. She was not very fond of her. But because she was her sister's daughter, obviously she had to keep her. So on the Christmas, when Pollyanna was expecting dolls, for very strange reasons, her aunt gave her crutches. Now, what she found the positive side in her, in that crutches, is that I never have to use it. I am looking at it, but I never have to use it. Likewise, when her aunt put her into the attic, where all the useless products were kept, like our own godowns, what she found beautiful about it is the view from that window of attic was beautiful. Now she invented something called Glad Game, and which slowly became the most favorite sport for the entire city. I'll not go further into the detail, but the point which I am trying to drive home is this Pollyanna principle, which later became, in psychology it is called Pollyanna principle. This Pollyanna principle says inherently we are positively biased, right? I'll give you quick examples. You have seen that in 12 years, or rather 20 years, we have grown at a 12% per annum CAGR rate. If you look at the history even before that, you'll always find we are growing. So there's a winning percentage is always higher. If you look at the rolling basis also, the number of 1 year periods where we have make gains versus loss. 1 year it may be small, but as you move 3 year, 5 year, 10 year, 15 year, you'll find that the number of positive periods are way higher than number of negative periods. So that gives us that confidence, that belief, that number of winning bets will be higher. But if you ask fund managers which quartile you will be in next year, invariably all the fund managers, or rather very close to majority, very close to the 100%, will say that I will be in the first quadrant or the second quadrant, right? This is all positive bias. Now you know for sure that if there are 4 quarters, there will be somebody who is in third and fourth quarter as well, but we all believe we will be in first or second quarter. Likewise, when we take stocks, we never think that it is going to go down, right? Do we? No. We never think that it will go down. So what happens? The very reason if I think that it will go down, I will not buy. So I buy with a very positive bias. But sometimes it go wrong. When I buy a portfolio of 4 or 5 stocks, what I feel, even if there is 1 or 2 stocks which may go down, I will still have the rest of them which will cover up and will cover for the rest, or cover for the losses. So this is another very important point. Positive biasness. I will give you the extreme of positive biasness. I get queries, or I used to get queries, suggest me penny stocks, right? Yes, it is true, and I'm sure many of you today also feel that let's buy some 1 rupee stocks. Who knows, if it goes to 100 rupees, I'll make a killing, right? This is a positive biasness. I will not go into whether it is right or wrong. That is a separate topic we'll discuss some other time. But buying penny stocks with this belief that there is even small, howsoever small maybe, but there is a chance that it will go and make big money for me. I am taking that chance because of my positive biasness. One more point in positive bias I'll say is about taking short-term bets. You are saying I am a long-term investor. I am here for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. But why not take small bets for short-term, quick returns? I've got a very strong tip. Let us figure out. Let us buy this. If it gives, good. If it doesn't give, okay, we'll see. Buying those short-term tips or buying those stocks for short-term, contrary to my general investment behavior, I would again say denotes your positive bias, knowingly or unknowingly. Right? So this is the third point which I wanted to discuss about. Fourth point is our own behavior. What is in our blood? We want to be successful, right? So all our behavior is towards being closer to the successful investors. Now, this behavior, either this is my internal behavior which has come because of my knowledge, my confidence, my belief, or this is a behavior which I have borrowed from my peer set. when I look at my peer set, I see them investing in equities. That influences me. I listen stories where somebody comes and tells me that I bought a stock A, B, C, and you know what, this became multi-bagger in 5 years time, 3 years time. So what happens is I get influenced, number one. Two, I have a very uncomfortable feeling that am I left behind? Have I missed the bus? These are all things which are influencing our behavior. So the peer set which comes and tells us that why you are only stuck with FD or let's say PPF or NPS, why don't you go look into directly into stocks? Look at the mutual funds, they are managed by experts, they are giving returns of 15-20%. That makes me feel, am I being left out? Why I am not party to this whole journey. We also are experimental in nature, right? We keep experimenting, and believe me, this is the experiment which makes us excited also. Let's try with, if not my entire money, but let's try with 10%, let's try with 5%, let's see how it happens. And when we experiment, obviously sometimes it helps us, and when it helps us, our confidence goes up that I know the game, and so I increase the bet, upping the ante, right? So I keep on increasing my bet. So we all are experimental, we take little bit of risk depending on my own risk profile, and then we move to the next level. When we make winning bets, we love talking about it. Our macho image, our ego comes into picture. Again, part of behavior. You love talking about it. Have you heard anyone talking about, you know what, I put 5 lakh rupees into my bank's fixed deposit and it has given me a fantastic 5.5-6% return? No, people don't talk about that. But they do talk that, you know what, I bought stock ABC, it went from 100 rupees to 200 rupees in just 6 months or 2 years, right? They will, okay, the flip side is they will not talk about where they have made losses. Again, positive bias, right? So this is on the behavior side. And the fourth point which I want to talk about is ease, which has added, or rather worked wonderfully with my belief, with my confidence, behavior, my positive biasness. All is made easy because of this last factor, which we call ease, right? Everything has become easy today. So what is easy? You get information which is easy. You open your laptop, you open your mobile, you open any TV news channel. If you want to know about the company, about its past performance, financials, analysis, anything. So the information is easy, and information is power. So what I feel is I am empowered. So it becomes very easy for me to trade on my knowledge in equities using this information. Second is transaction. With all the new age companies coming into picture, digitization happening, paperless KYC, paperless account opening, the whole transaction journey is today at ease. Sitting at home, just putting on your computer or mobile, you can buy or sell, both. So ease of transaction is another point. Because of info, what I feel is it has become very easy to replicate winners. Many of us, when we take our investment journey, what we think, I know investor A, B, C who has been extremely successful. I just need to know what is their investments, what are the stocks that they hold. And today, if you Google, you most likely will figure out who is owning what stocks, at least the large ones, large investors ones. So what we feel that it is very easy if they are doing or buying or selling these stocks, for me it is easier for me. I can also do that. So replicating winners is easy, finding products is easy. So whatever is my capability, direct equity, indirect equity, indirect equity means either mutual funds, ETFs, etc., AIF, PMS. I mean, there are different types of products depending on my own risk appetite. I can go and transact into. Ease of monitoring. Let me tell you a very interesting thing. Any investor, if you ask him what are the stocks in his portfolio, at what price they bought, what is current price, and the profit they are into or loss they are into, it is on their tip of the tongue. You can verify yourself, unless he's a very seasoned investor or somebody who is very extremely ignorant. I mean, if you exclude these two cases, the rest you will find. Why? Because on a daily basis, because of the ease of getting information, every time we look at the stock price, we do calculate what is my profit, what is my loss, and whether it is right or wrong, we'll discuss separately. But looking at on a daily basis, if you are a long-term investor, obviously that doesn't make too much of sense, unless you know there is some big event is likely to happen, or your assumptions are going to change. But otherwise, it doesn't make sense to look at the prices on daily basis. But easier said than done. We calculate every day's profit loss on a not daily basis. I would say on a moment basis. And last point, in terms of ease, is find culprit. If my bet has gone wrong, I bought stock XYZ, I was expecting it to go from 100 to 200, unfortunately it has gone from 100 to 20 or 10. Serious losses, right? I'm not talking about 100 becoming 80. 100 to 50 or 7, 30 or 20 or 10 is a serious loss. Now, when it has happened to me, what do I say? The person who provided me the tip he didn't know anything. I got into a trap. Management, you blame the management. It's a mismanaged, there's a fraud, there is all sort of things. If first two doesn't work, then you start blaming market. That was tech crisis, then financial crisis, then pandemic. You have all the reasons and justification. And if you are not satisfied with first three, then you will say, okay, it is my bad luck. But it becomes easy to find the culprit. Now, these are the 4 points which I wanted to drive home in this discussion. What excites us? Combination of these 5, where belief sits on the top, and 4 other parameters, it joins together in various permutation and combination. For someone, point A is very high, B or C may not be. Point B is very high, C and A may not be. Point A, B, C high, D not. But in various set of combination, this plays. And that is why our excitement is into this game. There are 3 crore people who have joined this movement. Not everybody can be a winner, but if you stay invested long enough, the chances of your winning is way too high. So the next question is, I'll not take more than 5 minutes now, because the next part is equally important. So where do we go wrong? I mean, we have excitement, we have all these 4-5 items which we know how it works. So where do we go wrong? we forget the company behind each stock. And I'm saying it very consciously. You speak to any average investor, this is their biggest problem. They feel that they know the company, but you just ask what is their business model, what are the types of businesses they are into, what are the verticals they have, what is the revenue, profitability, the leverage, the debt part of it, what kind of profit they make, what kind of tax they give, what is their supply chain, distribution. The moment you ask basics of these questions, they will falter. In some cases, I have found people don't even know what companies what business these companies are in, right? Now this is the serious mistake that we do. But just to summarize, what is the difference between winners and us? Winners are readers, listeners, thinkers. Every day they evaluate, they look at the reasons why they invested into, whether those reasons are still valid, where those assumptions are still valid. If the assumptions are valid, and if there is a temporary numbers which are not meeting their expectation, it is fine with them. But great readers, I would say great readers. And what we do, we just read shallow. We don't go into detail. Okay, then second, they take calculated bets. What we do is random. They have a portfolio approach. We have a stock specific approach. When I say portfolio approach, they look at the entire portfolio, they understand the risk very well. What we look at is just one stock. Somebody has given me a tip, somebody has told on the TV, somebody I have read in the media, let's go with this stock. I will go and buy, irrespective of the fact what else I hold, how this new stock is going to impact my portfolio, whether my capital allocation is right or wrong, what is my exit strategy, what are my risks, other risks which I am taking on. I hardly look at all those things, whereas the winners, they look at all these things very clearly. Very important, the decision making is rational, emotional. Right? Let me give you an example here. I invested, let's say, 5 lakh rupees, and because of this crisis, I've lost 30%. I mean, there are n number of stocks which has lost 40%, 50%, 70%, but let's take a number of 30%. So my 5 lakh has become 3.5 lakh. So what has happened? Stock 5 became 3.5. I still could have digested it, but this doesn't come only in one way. So one is the loss here. Second, what you are saying is uncertainty continuing. You don't know how long this uncertainty is going to continue. Will the market go further down from here? Third, your own financial condition. It may have deteriorated. So what the loss that you could have, loss of 1.5 lakh which you could have absorbed in under normal circumstances, in the new world it becomes very challenging. So even if you had talked about I am a long term investor, I am a high risk appetite investor, at this point in time, if you withdraw, all those your initial assumptions gets challenged. And let me tell you, this do happen. Many people who believe that they are long term investors, that they are here for very long haul, when the circumstance change, it is not just one item at a time, but there are multiple things which change together, creates lot of uncertainty. And that is where, even if you had answered earlier that if the market goes down by 20%, I will buy more, it holds no longer true and you start selling. Right? So those are the things. So rational versus emotional. And last thing I would say is, for them it is main course, For others, it is dessert. So this difference of between the main course and dessert is, I would say, the very primary. Most of us take equity for just to test our own test the water of equities. That is number one. Let's try, go with that mindset. Okay, let's take a chance. Go with the mindset, kya hoga? I mean, even if I lose money, it's okay, right? So it is not dessert, it is actually main course for the winners. So lastly, I would conclude this by saying a very simple thing, that if you want to be in part of the winning team, which all of us want to be, that is our aspiration, besides your belief, confidence, etc., etc., it is the hard work, discipline, and I would say patience. If you have these three things, then the chances, again I am saying, the chances of you moving from an average investor to a winner is very high, right? So be prepared for the grind. I hope you would have enjoyed it. Thank you. Look forward with you for next session. Bye bye.